So oftentimes as a Java developer, you have the situation whereby say you'd like to generate an invoice. So you have this beautiful application and the user is able to create invoices, maybe maintain invoice information. But at one point you'd like to generate this invoice as say a PDF and be able to send it to the client. And so your application should give this ability where an invoice PDF format can be generated and then the file sent to the client. And so this is what we are talking about today. And it could be maybe a different situation. There are very many other documents. Say for example a purchase order. And so you have this application that creates a purchase order. And so the user is able to create the purchase order, but then they would like to generate it as a PDF so they can send it to the vendor. And then maybe you could have a situation where you have this application that generates an ID or maybe employee information. So you have this employee information ID and they like to print out this ID so the person can have a physical copy of the ID. In order for you to do that, the easiest way would be to generate the ID as a PDF and then send it to the printer. And so today we're going to be talking about a very important topic in Java, and that is how to create, manipulate and manage our documents in Java. And this is going to be a very long series, and the importance and the focus in this series is going to be helping you add this functionality to your different Java applications. How do you generate documents? And with this series, you don't have to watch the videos in order. And so if you look at the video and there is this concept that you like, you could just watch that video and it will be self-sufficient, containing everything that you need to make that example. And you could transfer this to a similar Java application that you're working on in your project. This is Stack Solving and welcome to Core Java. So I went online and then downloaded a few formats of invoices. And I would like to work on these with you in this series, and so I could show you exactly how to build them. One of these is what's showing on the screen right now, and there's a beautiful invoice, and would like to make an application that makes this. And this is the other format also. This is also a beautiful invoice. Take a look, and you can find these online. There's so many formats online of invoices that people have made, and just wanted to pick random examples and see how we make these. This is another one. And so we'll be concentrating on these examples and see how we generate these particular invoices. But if you have any specific formats of invoices that you have, please reach me down in the comments and let's work on those. We shall also build an example purchase order, and this is coming from one of the applications that I've worked on, and this is in production. And we shall also be doing this other purchase order, and you can see it's a very simple format. We shall also work on this. But if you have any particular documents that you have right now and you've been working on this thing and you don't know how to generate it, please reach me in the comments and let's see how we can put that together and work on it. The other examples that we'll look at will be these employee IDs, and I picked these also randomly online. And we shall try and build these and see how do we build an employee ID. And if you're working on an application that actually maybe generates an employee ID, how do you now get this ID to be able to print it out? And these are some of the formats that we shall go through and look at. The other style of documents that we shall look at how to generate is, for example, what you're looking at here. These are financial reports. Say, for example, you have a finance system, an accounting system that maybe a business is using to in their day-to-day work, and so finally they want to draw out these reports or these financial reports, say the balance sheet, the income statement, and they want to generate these and be able to give it out to maybe the investors so that they can be able to look at that. And so these are some of the documents that you can generate in Java. And so if you have a Java application that does this, you should be able to generate these kinds of documents, and we shall be looking at this kind of documents. And there are so many documents that we can look at, and particularly in finance systems are report centric, so everything that they do has to be reported out. And so the ability for us to be able to create documents from our finance system is very paramount and next to none, and we should be able to build that skill in this series. And then the last class of examples that I'd like to talk about is, for example, a document like a loan agreement. For example, if you were working on an application that is being used by banks or say microfinance institutions, And these are lenders, and so they lend out money, and for every account they have that they lend out, they make a loan agreement. And so they can't always be formatting this loan agreement all the time. So your application should give them the ability to have this format of the loan agreement, and then from there, when they work on an application, then your Java application will feed into this format of the loan agreement the different information that pertains to this particular client. And so then it is then printed out without any other input as soon as the application is finished and the form has been filled. And so this is the other kind of documents that we shall be looking at. The other format of documents that we want to look at in Java are Excel files. And these documents are very important. For example, there are so many applications that we may have in Java that we may always have to add the ability to generate Excel files as reports. For example, I have this very simple application that I did once, deployed it to production, and the client is using it, and the application tracks meals. Say for example, this is a group of so many employees in one place, and so all of them go to a canteen to eat food, say their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And every time someone goes to eat, they scan their card, and there is this small Java application that will capture that information, who has scanned, at what time did they arrive, and what meal are they eating. And then this information is stored in the database, and all month long. And at the end of the month, the human resource department would like to generate this report and be able to see who ate food in this month and what is the quantity of the food they ate. And this is the kind of report that would be generated from such an application, and it would give the name of the person and the company and the department and what meal they scanned for within the range of date that the person has selected for. And at the end of the day, it should give the person or whoever is generating this report what are the total meals that the employees accessed. And you could see that, for example, this person here in that period that was selected only accessed 15 meals. And so this is a very important report to have for the human resource department to generate deductions on people's employees, on employees checks and all that, depending on what amount of food that they have accessed at the canteen. So this is a very important report, and this is an example of the kind of reports that we'll be generating in Java, because there are so many Java applications that store these huge amounts of data. But if we cannot generate these reports in Excel and give them to whoever that would like to view and make sense of that information, then that's useless. So Excels are part of what we shall talk about in this tutorial. And we could also look at, for example, financial applications. This is, for example, a chart of accounts. And so if you have an accounting application, chart of accounts is a very important report. Someone to be able to see all the different accounts that they are maintaining. And in order to generate that as an Excel, give it to someone else and look at your chart of accounts is very important. So this is one of the very important reports that every financial system would be able to generate. And maybe we could take a look at something else, and this is the income statement. For example, if you have an income statement, you have a financial application, an accounting application should be able to give the income statement in Excel format so that people can manipulate this data, make sense of it, and make other reports from that income statement. As you can see, this is income statement from March 1st to March 31st. So and these are the different values that for that income statement, and this is an Excel file generated straight from the system as an income statement. And so almost all financial systems will always generate this report, and so this is very important. And so finally, as we conclude this particular video, in this series we'll be looking at using iText, ApachePOI or POI, HTML and CSS, and then Maven. These are the libraries and technologies that we'll be using in Java to get our documents series accomplished. And so you'd like to take a look and read about some fundamentals. And finally, I read all your comments and I'd like you to engage with me on this particular topic. What is it that you want to know about documents in Java? Do you have any particular ask that you'd like us to concentrate on and give a focus? Please reach me in the comments. And remember, this is task solving, and on this channel our focus is to help you brush up on those Java skills so that you can excel at that new job or be good at that new contract that you have taken, or help you finish that project so that you can earn more money as a Java developer.